So you're planning where to study next, and you've looked at the course curriculum as well as the job opportunities in a lot of different universities across the world, including India. Now you've found out that the job opportunities as well as course curriculum is actually very good in India as well. With some of the top universities, you get every single thing. Why then would you want to go to some other country, especially Europe? What is being offered here which makes the overall study experience so amazing? This is what we are going to talk today, and hopefully by the end of this video, you would want to really consider Europe as an option for your next study. Let's begin. Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel Rohit the 14th. In the last few videos, we are talking about the job and placement process from MBA in IIMs versus the Master in Management programs in some of the European universities. And we did find out that actually the job and placement process, they both are very different. And in IIMs, you might have more opportunities, but Europe is also doing pretty decent. Now, if you've not seen that video, I'll put a link in the description below. And if you feel like it, please have a look. Coming to today's video, we want to talk about something else. When you are selecting the next university, it's not just about the course curriculum or the job opportunities. You won't just be studying 24 hours a day, 365 days in a year. There would be a life outside of the classroom. And this is a very important aspect of student life, even if a lot of people are not actually talking about it. The things you'll do, the experiences you'll make, and the life you'll live. And this is where Europe offers an extremely unique opportunity, and it is almost, at least in my opinion, unbeatable, even if you compare it to US, Australia, New Zealand, anywhere else in the world. Now, before you all start dreaming of the perfect life in Europe and having the most amazing life possible, I do want to let you know that the final life that you live in Europe would depend a lot on your individual capabilities and situation. For example, it would depend on the amount of money that you want to spend, it would depend on the social skills and the language skills you have, and it would also depend on your openness towards integrating to a new society, new culture, new lifestyle. Still, I do want to give you an example of a student life that you could live in Europe. To live a fulfilling life as a student, you need three things: time, money, and access to opportunities. And Europe offers actually all these three things in a very good way. Talking about time, in Europe, social life and work-life balance is given a huge amount of importance. That means that no matter if you're studying in a particular program or if you're working, there is a high chance that you would be able to manage your work-life balance. Of course, there are job opportunities which would make you work a lot, but I still think that compared to how it is in other developing countries, for example, in India, it was very hard sometimes to maintain this work-life balance. These kind of things happen rarer in Europe. If you're talking about money, because it's home to some of the most advanced economies of the world, and the European countries have very strong worker rights. Most of the times you are paid pretty good for the amount of work you do. You have more rights and you have more security. So that way also money-wise you're doing pretty decent. And access to opportunities, Europe is home to a lot of things. It's the center of the world in certain regards, and that means that you would have a lot of access to opportunities which you might not have in some of the developing economies. Good European universities are very internationally diverse. You'll find students from all across Europe as well as all across the world. That means that if you're open to making international friends, you would have opportunities to learn a lot of different diverse cultures as well as practice different languages with the natives. In my particular example, I have friends from all across the world. I have friends from Pakistan, Afghanistan, China, Japan, Korea, Brazil, in a lot of European countries, for example, France, Austria, Belgium, you name it. And that is something that I really like and enjoy, because then you do not only understand the world from the news, the official news that is coming, but you could actually go and talk to these people and they'll tell you the reality of their own countries. Due to such rich diversity, of students and workers who are coming to Europe, you would also see a reflection of that in the extracurricular activities and hobbies which are on offer. So I still remember when I was growing up in India, if you want to play sports, you could either play cricket or football. If you want to learn music, you could learn guitar or tabla or some other music instruments, Indian or Western. But if you want to do something uncommon, something exotic, it was almost extremely impossible to find an expert to teach you that. If you talk about Europe, it has almost every single thing when it comes to extracurricular activities and hobbies. For example, in University of Mannheim, when I was studying, I could actually take part in learning salsa, in Zumba. Later on, I tried wakeboarding, I tried skiing, and you could do a lot of these things, canoeing. Every single thing is possible actually, and you would be able to find an expert to teach you that, either inside the university sports program or outside in your city somewhere, if you have the time and money to afford that. Although every country offers a unique flavor of art, culture, and history, and India is also not an exception, if you're talking about Europe, it's almost impossible to ignore it. First of all, there are quite a lot of people from across the world migrating to Europe to study as well as to work. That brings in that flavor, of art, culture, and history. And on top, if we have, studied history books as well as seen a lot of inventions, a lot of these things could actually be tracked back to Europe. Also, if you're talking about UNESCO World Heritages, almost 50% of that lie in Europe. So there are quite a lot of things which are well known across the world, well appreciated across the world. And if you're studying in Europe, you have the first-hand advantage to kind of see it, live it, experience it, learn from it every single day of your stay here. And that makes you, in my opinion, a better, well-rounded global professional. When I was studying as a student in Europe, what I saw is that there are a lot, and when I say a lot, it means literally a lot of local, national, and international student bodies which keep on organizing events across the year. Now, as a student, you would have an invitation and access to all of that. On top, there are quite a lot of offers which are discounted for students. For example, you could visit a lot of the museums at a discounted place, a lot of tourist attractions at a discounted place, just because you're a student. Also, almost all the cities in Europe are actually extremely safe, and for boys as well as girls. The students love, after the studies, meeting in the evening, going to bars, pubs, clubs to enjoy, have a good time. And that makes the student life here really, really fun. On top, there are quite a lot of hostel parties happening, university parties happening, a lot of other cultural events happening across the different cities and states in Germany and in Europe, and you'd be able to enjoy a lot of that. So if you like going out, Europe is a perfect place to be. Paris, Amsterdam, Zurich, Berlin, all these world famous tourist locations are actually in Europe. So if you're a student in Europe, you have free access to all these and even more, hundreds and hundreds of cities are just a few hours away from you to explore. And to come to these cities, actually people across the world are paying so much money. And by studying here, you could just go there for weekends, you could go there for a few days, and because you have time, you'd also be able to plan it perfectly so that you do not spend so much money, and throughout your study time, you'd be able to explore so many different countries, so many different locations. And trust me, I've been in Europe for like 6 years, actually more than 6 years. And even now, every second week or so, I would find a location which I would be just mesmerized with. There are just out of the world places. If you've ever come to Europe, you know how beautiful it is all the time, and that is a very big advantage, I feel, if you're a student in Europe compared to being a student in any other country. Europe is also a very big market for world famous festivals and events. So the world famous sports events, music festivals, all of these things are happening all the time in Europe. So if you're studying here, you'd be able to follow your superstars, you'd be able to attend their music festivals, attend their tours. And this is something that I couldn't do in India, because some of the times, the stars you follow, they're not going to your location because there is not a huge following, or they do not get so much economical benefit. But because Europe is such a big market and it has such a huge audience as a continent, most of the superstars are always coming here. It would be in your country, for example, in Germany, in Berlin or somewhere. Otherwise, you could just take a train and reach the city in some other country as well in Europe, and you can attend that. If you're born in a country which is outside of Europe, by coming to Europe, you would be able to challenge yourself, to learn a new culture, to learn a new way of living life. And that actually helps you develop as an individual. Also, the European culture is a bit more individualistic if you compare it to the Asian culture, and that means that you have some really cool challenges through which you'll grow as an individual. You'll learn the different ways of living life, and that has helped me personally a lot in really identifying where do I want to focus, how do I want to live my life, and some of the things I could never learn if I would not have come to Europe actually. India has actually taught me a lot, but there is a part of what I am today which can be attributed to me coming to Europe for studies. So if you're still in the process of selecting your next place to study, I would hope that after seeing this video and all the benefits that Europe offers, you would give Europe a chance. Personally, in my experience, I came here to Germany to study, and Europe really changed me a lot. It taught me a lot that I could not have learned if I would have stayed back in India. Hopefully, if you decide to come to Europe, you would also learn and grow as an individual. I would continue to make more videos explaining to you the way I see the world. If you think that these videos are helping you, please like, share and subscribe. They really motivate me to make more and more videos. Then thanks a lot for this time. I'll see you in the next video then.